Hey everyone, Britton here, also known as Samoki Dude. Today is January the 15th, Monday, January the 15th, as I'm recording this. It is a very nice and snowy day out here in Oklahoma City. Well, maybe not nice. Maybe nice isn't the wrong word, but it is quite snowy, and it's very, very cold outside today, so I am shacking up at my house. This is my kind of intro. This is the first. What's the Big Fuss, which is basically where I cover really popular books that have been making the rounds on BookTube, and the book that was chosen for me was Fourth Wing, so I'm going to be reading that, soon. I'm going to be starting that either today or tomorrow as of the recording of this. Not really much else for me to say. I got my Dr. Pepper here. I have all my stuff here. I got my microphone, my beautiful Shure MV7 microphone that I love very much. Yeah, I guess there's not really much else for me to say. Let's get into it. Hey guys, Britton here, recording off my phone, because I guess that's what you do when you do these reading vlog things. I'm not even a page in the Fourth Wing already, and I'm already seeing something that's irritating me. So, if you guys can read off my screen here, it says, "At Entangled, we want our readers to be well-informed. If you would like to know if this book contains any elements that might be of concern to you, please check the book's webpage for details." I don't want to sound like an asshole already, but if there's going to be triggering content in your work, just say there's going to be triggering content in your work. You don't have to do this. This just feels... I already feel like I'm being insulted. I feel like my intelligence is being insulted already. And... this book is going to... well, this is what you guys wanted, I imagine. But seriously, though, if you have triggering content in your book, just say you have triggering content in your book. I don't want to, I don't want to tell you how to write. Just write. God. Okay, let's get into this. Alright, we are into this, and we are already in the pretty laughably bad, but I'm having a good time with this. We're getting to the real thirsty scene, so let me just read this passage right here. This is beautiful. I have to read this. Let me just read this real quick. The third turns my direction, and my heart simply stops. He's tall, with wind-blown black hair and dark brows. The line of his jaw is strong and covered by warm, tawny skin and dark stubble, and when he folds his arms across his torso, the muscles in his chest and arms ripple, moving in a way that makes me swallow, and his eyes, ooh, his eyes are the shade of gold-flecked oinks. Oinks? Onyx? You can let me know in the comments. The contrast is startling, jaw-dropping even. Everything about him is. His features are so harsh that they look carved, and yet they're astonishingly perfect. Like an artist worked a lifetime sculpting him, and at least a year of that was spent on his mouth. He's the most exquisite man I've ever seen. And living in War College means I've seen a lot of them. Even the diagonal scar that bisects his left eyebrow and marks the top corner of his cheek only makes him hotter, flaming hot, scorching hot, get you into trouble, and you like it level of hot. Suddenly, I can't remember exactly why Mira told me not to fuck around outside my year group. See you two on the other side, Dylan says over his shoulder with an excited grin before stepping over the parapet, his arms spread wide. Now, here is the absolute just yes, because earlier in the story, her sister's like, hey, don't fuck with this guy, don't fuck with the older people, and don't fuck with this guy called Xaden, or I think that's his name, Xaden, X-A-D-E-N. Guess who the person is I guess who the person is who she's thirsting over. I bet you can guess. Ready for the next one, Rierson? The writer with the ripped sleeve says, Xaden Rierson? Yes! I am amazing. Because this book, I already can tell you what's going to happen here. And I love it. I love this book. I love it in a way that should not be loved by any stretch of the imagination. And, yeah. And we're still in the first chapter here, guys. Like, we're still in the first... Oh! This is awesome. Okay, now I have completed chapter 1, and now I'm at chapter 2, and I can't help but notice that the writing style has almost changed here. Let me just read a little part here compared to last chapter. He's just a name, another soon-to-be stone in an endless graveyards that line the roads to Basgiath. Geth? If I said that wrong, let me know. Another warning to the ambitious candidates who would rather live their lives with the writers than choose the security of any other quadrant. I get it now, why Mira warned me not to make friends. You know, it's interesting, and here's another one. Here's another one. Violet Sorengale, I answer, as thunder cracks above me, the sound oddly comforting. I've always loved the nights where storms beat against the fortress window, both illuminating and throwing shadows over the books I curled up with, though this downpour might just cost me my life. It's kind of trying, like, the first chapter was kind of more of like a bare bones style, and now this is like trying to be like a little poetic, so this is really interesting. Yeah, I guess I'll have to keep going to see what happens here. Alright, so it's been a few days. I haven't really had a lot of time to sit down and record one of these, but I did manage to read chapter 2 and 3. I just didn't get around to recording my thoughts on it until today because, you know, I just started school. I will say that chapters 2 and 3 are better than the first chapter. They're better written, at least in my opinion, and she definitely tries to go for, like, a more atmospheric vibe for it, which isn't terrible. But the problems still remain. Like, for instance, there's just some things in this book that just don't make sense. Like, for one, why the hell would these people, this nation, trust the children of people who they have actively screwed over? I'm probably going to bring this up more when I go into the actual kind of my thoughts on what I've read so far, because I don't think I'm going to be moving on and reading more of this. I'm sorry, folks, but, you know. But, there were things I liked. I liked the, how she was balancing herself and how she decided to quote the history of her nation to try and calm herself down. Now, I know some people might say it's a bit of a lazy way to use info dumps, but I personally thought it was kind of creative. I didn't think it was too bad. Also, the dialogue was a bit more snappy this time. There wasn't so much of that awkward exposition as there was in that first chapter. But I don't think I'll be moving on with this book because I mean, I might hate myself a lot and read bad books, but I don't know if I can go through with this. There's a lot of stuff I can predict happening because I've read a lot of books like this, and in all honesty, I don't know if it's worth it to put myself through that. So yeah, it's kind of what I got for right now. On to the full-on thoughts / why I won't be continuing. Well, I got my Dr. Pepper. Today is Friday, January the 26th, 2024, and I am finally here with my thoughts / final thoughts on Fourth Wing, because as I mentioned, I am probably not going to be continuing with Fourth Wing because, you know, there's just some books out there that just aren't worth it, man. Really aren't. Now, if you were looking for me to tear this book a new one, then I'm sorry, I'm not going to be doing that. Now, I won't pretend like this book is really good, because it isn't very good. Though it's not a complete dumpster fire. It didn't completely enrage me if something like Divergent did, or The Devil Takes You Home. It didn't really enrage me like that. But I'm not going to continue the book, like I said. There's just too many red flags in this book that I've seen so far. And I've read bad books from time to time, but I don't seek them out, alright? I mean, I could definitely read this whole book and do like a ranty review of it, but in all honesty, not worth it. It's just, it's not worth it, man. I mean, I could do that, and I have done ranty reviews. I actually did one the other day, as of the recording of this video anyway. But I don't seek out to do that, you know. I'm not the Critical Drinker, or Razor Fist, or any of those fucking morons. You know, I'm doing my own thing here. But I hope to discuss why I didn't care for the Fourth Wing. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was telling me, and I was telling her about the badness of Fourth Wing, and she basically said that YA is different from adult novels, so we should judge them differently. Which was a little ironic coming from her, considering, you know, I won't go into that. There are books like Harry Potter series, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and Looking for Alaska that are also intended for a young adult audience. And those books are fantastic. You know, I treat all books equally here, whether they be good or bad. So, let's get into this. So, like I said with the first chapter kind of gave me some unpleasant flashbacks when I read Divergent. The style's very pedestrian, and the protagonist was angst-filled. There's awkward exposition all around, and again, just protagonist angst that you would expect from a YA novel. I mean, our main character, Violet, she's the awkward outsider of the family. You know, she doesn't really get along with her mom. She has a bit of a tragic backstory with her dad, and she doesn't quite feel like she belongs anywhere. And to be honest, she's kind of a nerd who doesn't really want to be a dragon rider. She wants to be what's called God, that tells you about the book. I'm already forgetting stuff. But, yeah, not good. It's not good. Chapter 2 is where things really get fucky, though. If you didn't already see my reaction to the reveal, I mean, if you want to even call that, if you even want to call it that the guy she was told not to screw around with is the one she finds so intensely attractive. I mean, like I said, I loved it. I loved it in a way that you shouldn't love something. It's just, mwah, you know? It's beautiful. It was cringy and bad, but, like, I almost felt like there was, like, a dark honesty to it. Like, there's, like, a, you know, because, you know, women thirst, too. You know, we're all equal. You know, we're all human beings. We got needs. But I digress. Chapter 3 was okay. And there were actually things I actually liked about it. I mean, there were just, you know, I liked how Violet and her friend Dane, who were, like, old friends from back in the day, I really liked their relationship. I liked that there wasn't too much exposition like, oh, I've known this guy since we were, like, 2 years old. None of that shit. I mean, there's definitely history there without being overly expository. So I will give Rebecca Yarros that. That was pretty good. But there are still a lot of issues that I have with this book.
I suppose the biggest red flag of this book that I've read so far is just some of the world-building choices. There's just some stuff in here that just don't make sense once you think about it for a minute. I mean, for instance, why the hell does the government in this setting think it was a good idea to have the children of literal traitors be in their ranks? I mean, what could possibly go wrong there? Oh, it gets even worse. Not only do they let them into their ranks, they also let them have what is basically the magical equivalent of a WMD. Great thinking there, guys. It just, I mean, I get that, oh god, where do I go with this? I mean, from what I've heard from the reviews, it ends rather predictably, so, you know, I was kind of like, alright. And I understand that things like this have happened in the past, like in the American Civil War after that was over, but I can't even believe I'm bringing this up. But even after that, we realized how stupid that was. I mean, and it's a contrived way to create conflict, and it kind of just makes the government look like morons. I mean, yeah, I know it's mentioned that they killed the traitors as, like, an example to any other people who want to rebel, but, guys, didn't Game of Thrones teach you nothing? Fear can only get you so far. I mean, you would think that these people would have precautions, you know, take precautions to not have, you know, the children of the traitors go after them, like keep an eye on them or something, like have like internal detectives or something watching over no, none of that shit. I mean, there's being arrogant, and then there's just playing with fire. And that leads me to my next point of why I'm not going to be continuing with this, and why I thought this book was really stupid, even though I read 3 chapters. If this book wasn't already contrived enough, let's actually talk about the military school that this takes place in. I mean, check this out. Your first crossing, the first test you do, you have to cross like this walkway. I mean, think of it like a really thin bridge, you know, or, you know, you have to like, think of it kind of like a tightrope. You have to walk across the tightrope, and whoever is the strongest, they survive, basically. There are people who die in this, and it's very dangerous, and there are some of the people in this who actually die. Now, I'll admit, it is effective in some places, because there are some characters that I actually grew to like, and they died. I mean, I knew they were probably going to die, because there's this one guy who's like, oh, I'm gonna propose marriage to my girlfriend, and you're like, he's gonna die. But of course, I'm a sucker, and I was actually kind of sad when he died. So, again, good job, Rebecca Yarros. You know, I'm gonna try and be fair here. But it's, I have to agree with Thomas from SFF 180 on how unnecessary it is to kill all the cadets who aren't gonna cut it. I mean, I think I know why Yarros made this choice, but it's still really annoying. I mean, you know, I hope Thomas doesn't mind me borrowing his example, but it's almost like how in the actual military, you know, you might have the people in the Navy SEALs who aren't going to make it. I mean, they're not going to get killed. They're just going to be put in roles that would be better suited for them. That doesn't make sense. I mean, unless you're Joseph Stalin, maybe that'll work out, but, I mean, oh boy. Again, I think I know why Yarros made this choice. I mean, with the pseudo-social Darwinist rhetoric and the fact that this school has literal psychopaths running around murdering people and without any consequences, I mean, I think it's clear that Yarros is telling us who the bad guys are going to be. Again, it's not utterly bad, it's just contrived. It's contrived bullshit. Though, what I think the nail of this coffin was, in terms of reading this book, was I knew what was going to happen. From the love triangle to the misunderstood bad boy with the heart of gold, the ridiculously evil empire here, I could just tell what was going to happen, and I realized it just wasn't worth it. But I tried to have fun with it while I read it. I mean, you can see my discussion bits where I give my raw reactions to what's going on. And I am sad that I have to end this What's the Big Fuss with me quitting the book, but in all honesty, this is a bit more of a casual thing, so I didn't really want to feel like I was, what's the word? I didn't want to commit too much to it. It's just something that I wanted to try out, and it was fun reading it while it lasted and making those clips where I was discussing it. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be going forward with Left Wing because, or not Left Wing, Fourth Wing. God, I'm losing my mind here. But yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to be continuing on with Fourth Wing. Again, it's just not worth it. It just seems kind of like contrived. It just seems like contrived crap, and I don't really want to read contrived crap. There are better books out there that I want to read, and I want to know what's going on, and I want to read those books. But yeah. Not really much else for me to say about that. So, yeah, next time I will be doing the, What's the Big Fuss vote. I will be starting it in early February. You guys can vote on other books, except for books that have already been chosen. So, sorry, you can't choose Fourth Wing again. Hope you guys enjoyed What's the Big Fuss #1. I enjoyed making it, even though it was very hard. And it took a lot of time to do. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And hopefully the next book I will have more cognizant thoughts about. So, or well, I'll actually experience it from beginning to end. But, you know, we'll see. If anyone wants to talk about my criticisms or, you know, hear what I have to say, if there's any fans of the book, let me know what you enjoyed about it. I would love to hear from you guys. You know, I'm not against hearing different opinions. And let me know what you liked about Fourth Wing if you read it. Or if you didn't like Fourth Wing, I mean, let me know about that. It's not, I don't think it's very good from what I've read so far, and I really don't want to continue on with it, but maybe some of you liked it, or maybe some of you didn't, so let me know what you thought in the comments. But I think that's it for now. If you want to find me on Twitter. I am as Somoki Dude. I'm also on Goodreads and Letterboxd, which I probably have more coherent reviews. Reviews like this one, they're probably more coherent than the one you just heard right now. God, I am not on it today. And you can also find me on Discord, where you can come and talk with me and hang out with me and hear all the fun stuff I gotta say. And I'd love to hear from you guys. So yeah, you can comment, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. Comments. I love hearing comments. I love talking with you guys. And if there's any other books you want to let me know what to read, let me know in the comments below. Or you can vote in the next What's the Big Fuss? Because, again, you have to do some of the work here. Oh, yeah. Almost forgot. I have to do a book review here. Or I actually did a book, I actually did a little challenge that, that talk about a book that disappointed you, and if you win, you will get a copy of a book I really didn't care for, which is The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Iglesias. Poor guy, I've just been beating up this book for a long time. But I've only gotten 2 people. I've got Kindles and Kicks, who talked about his review, and I also got Jason, of course, and, well, since there's only 2 people, I decided, screw it, I'm just going to do it via a coin toss. So let me just get this out real quick. Oh, shit. Alright. Okay. Here we go. Good coin here. We'll say heads Jason, and tails Kindles and Kicks. So let's do it. Heads! Jason has won! Alright, Jason, hit me up in the comments or on Discord, and I will send you The Devil Takes You Home as soon as possible. Alright, I think that is all. That is the first What is the Big Fuss? Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. See you guys soon. Goodbye.